Hello. So, how do you feel about subscription services like for games and stuff? I mean, Game Pass has a pretty good reputation for great value. I quite like it, although I really only keep an active sub when there's something specific I need for it. I don't need it for online play because I'm primarily a PC player where online play is almost always free and seamless. Same goes for PlayStation Plus. It's much worse value overall than Game Pass. I don't care what side of the console wars you are on, you can't deny that. It's just worse. But you do still need it for online play, and that's all I ever subscribed for it for. But because it is worse value than Game Pass, I always do so quite begrudgingly. And I have personally rarely long-term indulged in games that require their own ongoing subscription services to play them at all, or at least to play past a certain point. But something is about to happen in gaming that means there's a very popular game coming that you'll have to pay twice for. You'll need two separate subscription services to two separate companies just to play this one game. Oh, and man, does it send a chill up my spine, because once stuff like that starts happening and morons start paying, you just know the dollar signs in the eyes of the endlessly greedy publishers will ping up like the fetid cartoon villains they really are, and they'll start trying to normalize it all over the place. So yeah, hello again, I am Blunty, and Square Enix, or as I have always referred to them as, at least since the merger, which, oh my god, was that 21 years ago already? Bloody hell, look, there's a reason my little avatar here has grey hair fluff. Jeez, 21 years since Square Enix became a thing. Anyway, where was I? Alright, I call them Squeenix, which I think sounds cute, which is funny to me because the corporate monstrosity that is and are AAA game developers and publishers is anything except cute. So, Squeenix ironically. But 13 and a half years since Squeenix launched Final Fantasy XIV, their MMORPG, and then literally imploded it because it was so catastrophically crappy, and then rebuilt it from scratch in one of the gaming industry's most epic stories, then relaunched it 10 years ago, this time to mostly critical praise and enduring an ongoing passion and a growing player base, becoming one of the world's, if not the world's, most popular MMO. First hitting PlayStation 3 and PC in August 2013, then PlayStation 4 about a year later, and then on Mac, believe it or not, a year after that, then on PlayStation 5 in May of 2021, is now finally plopping down on the last major platform with enough grunt to run it, at least. Enjoy your final year of life, Nintendo Switch. I wonder if the Switch successor will get Final Fantasy XIV as well. That's supposedly about as powerful as the PlayStation 4, allegedly. Watch that video if you haven't seen it. Who knows? Sometime in the middle of this year, Final Fantasy XIV is being excreted onto Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. And like the PlayStation 5 version before it, it promises 4K visuals and fast loading times and all that modern gaming stuff. This isn't breaking news, though. We've known this has been coming since the middle of last year or so, but things are moving faster now. There's an open beta test for the Xbox Series X and S version of Final Fantasy XIV kicking off on February the 21st, with the full game set for release on Xbox sometime after, of course. How much time after? We have no idea, which is probably smart. It means no matter what issues the open beta might reveal, what bugs or server issues or whatever there are, they can then just take the appropriate time to fix them instead of desperately trying to get it patched up while steaming towards a preset public date and then suffering the din of screeching people online if it needed a delay to, get stuff ready. But the plan is for it to be ready around the same time as this summer's DLC expansion thingy, Dawn Trail, which is also without a solid date yet, but expectations are June-ish. And here is where we come back to the opener. Final Fantasy XIV on PC requires a Squeenix subscription. It's just one of those MMORPGs that you need a subscription to play. On PlayStation, it also requires a Squeenix subscription, but not the PlayStation Plus subscription you'd normally need to play online games, because it, counts as a free-to-play game in the eyes of Sony, even though that definition barely applies in that it is free to download, and there's a limited free trial. But Over on Xbox, news is Microsoft do not count it as a free-to-play game, so while Game Pass also has a policy of not being required for online play in free-to-play games, and has been that way for a few years now, which is why you can play stuff like, Fortnite, for example, without Game Pass, even though it's a purely online game. They will, however, require a Game Pass Core or Game Pass Ultimate subscription for Final Fantasy XIV. And it's all a bit messy because you won't need it for the open beta, and you won't need it for the free trial, but you will need it if you decide to keep playing, which requires a Squeenix subscription also. At that point, unlike Sony, Microsoft now no longer consider it a free-to-play game, and you will require a Game Pass subscription of some kind on top of the Squeenix subscription to even play this one game. Oh, and if you've ever used the free trial ever before on any platform for Final Fantasy XIV, yeah, you are locked out on Xbox. You'll instantly need both subscriptions to start playing at all. And yeah, that to me is a pretty big issue in my eyes, at least, in my humblest of opinions. Do I sound humble? And yeah, I'm a little concerned that if this works, if Final Fantasy XIV kicks off on Xbox, it attracts a large active player base and ongoing subscriptions, then other cartoon villains will see this as evidence that it works, and they can also get away with double dipping on subscription fees, and then they will attempt to normalize this, and then they will do what they do best and keep walking the abuse forwards as far as they can before they inevitably shoot their own toes off. After 14 steps forward, they take one step back. Oh, hey, we heard you, player base. We heard you. We're taking a step back. Never mind those 13 other ones. The line must be drawn here, no further. This is just the kind of crap that has landed us in the horrific state of microtransaction bullcrappery that is the cancer infesting our games today. Anyway, I guess I'll just go play Palworld now, which has zero of this horse plop at all and has been wildly successful, some might say, at least in part, because it lacks all of this crap. Also, it is genuinely fun. And no, on the off chance someone is asking in the down below already, I will not be playing Final Fantasy XIV. I have no real interest in Final Fantasy XIV. It's just the news around it right now that pushed me to make this video. But I did try it back in April. I'm not speaking in complete ignorance here. I did try it back in April last year, a little while after they opened up local Australian servers, and I found it to be really tedious, to be frank with you. I really felt the age of the game. Like, there were so many things in the game that this feels 10 years old. Oh boy, does this feel 10 years old. And there were way too much pointless NPC chatter for zero useful reasons. They would just wibble on and on and on. They're not delivering anything important. They're not world building. They're just dribbling on and on and on, telling you the same thing like 10 different times. And it drove me insane. It drove me absolutely nuts. Bonkers. Bananas, cuckoo. I'm told it does get better as you reach the later expansions, and there's less of that, and the game gets, better paced and everything. But hey, no thanks. There are so many other good games that are good right away that don't need me to trudge through 80 hours of stinking rotted tedium and boredom before they get good. Sorry, Final Fantasy XIV fans, I know you love your game. Rage at me if you want, but you cannot tell me I'm wrong about this. If you think you are wrong about this, you haven't played the early game of your very favorite game ever in quite some time, I don't think. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. What do you think about the upgrades to the new baddie avatar? I fixed the wings, I fixed the eyes. The ears are a little bit more wibbly, still got a little bit more work to do on those. I've got to fine-tune the physics on those and get some animation and stuff, but I'm liking it. I think the eyes read a bit clearer now too. Although, I don't know, still needs some fiddling, I think. So thank you as always to the patrons scrolling up above there. I am Blunty. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time. And yeah, let me know what you know. Are you going to pay 2 subscriptions to play Final Fantasy XIV on Xbox? You might be dumb if you do. You might be. Sorry, but you might be.